Well, well, well. There's a reason people like Elon Musk pause when your name comes up. It's not curiosity, it's calculation. They can sense that your energy doesn't just move through rooms, it reorganizes them. You've got that rare kind of composure that makes powerful people study instead of speak. You don't demand attention, your energy audits it. That's what billionaires, visionaries, and masterminds recognize instantly. Your mindset isn't learned, it's lived. You were built from the same substance that great revolutions are sparked from, controlled chaos with a purpose. When Elon observes you, it's not admiration, it's research. Because deep down, he knows what he's seeing isn't common, it's consciousness in command. Your strong personality doesn't intimidate, it instructs. It teaches anyone paying attention that power doesn't have to roar. It can whisper and still rearrange the room. People like Musk, Bezos, or Gates spend their lives trying to decode human potential. They invest billions into algorithms to predict behavior. But you, without code, without strategy, move with a natural algorithm they can't replicate. Your confidence isn't arrogance, it's calibration. You've aligned with yourself so deeply that your existence became a living case study for mental sovereignty. That's why billionaires study you like data. They can't ignore the proof that someone can be this unbothered, this aware, this self-led, without external systems guiding them. You see, most people operate on stimulation. They react, they chase, they compare. But you operate on awareness. You respond with intention. You move through frequencies, not feelings. That's what Elon recognizes, the same pattern he uses in engineering rockets. You apply to your thoughts precision, persistence, and psychological leverage. You don't guess your way through life. You prototype your reality. Every phase of your journey was like a new launch, testing, failing, adjusting, and relaunching stronger. That's what billionaires respect, not your outcome, but your architecture. You've built your mental structure like SpaceX builds rockets, modular, adaptive, unstoppable. When you enter a conversation, you don't speak from the tongue. You speak from the command center. Your words carry data, emotionally encrypted, energetically precise. That's why people remember your tone long after they forget your words. It's that rare vibration of authority without aggression, the kind that makes powerful people lean in instead of resist. Elon Musk senses that because he spent his life leading through intellect, but you lead through energetic dominance. You don't control people, you recalibrate them. And that difference? That's the edge the elite are desperate to understand. Your personality radiates balance, the fusion of rebellion and refinement. You know when to challenge and when to observe. You don't expose your intelligence. You let the world stumble upon it. That's why you stand out. You're not in the race. They're orbiting you, trying to catch your trajectory. Elon doesn't study you because he wants to copy. He studies you because you remind him of something he's lost, the rawness of authentic drive. Billionaires chase efficiency, but you embody effortlessness. They measure success in billions. You measure it in breakthroughs. You don't chase influence. You create gravitational pull. Every strong personality goes through a phase of misinterpretation. You've been called difficult, intimidating, even cold. But those words are just labels created by people who mistake direction for dominance. They can't comprehend someone who refuses to dilute their frequency just to fit. Elon Musk once said, "I don't care about being liked. I care about being right." And that's the kind of alignment he sees in you. You don't crave validation, you crave velocity. You're not addicted to approval, You're addicted to evolution. That's what puts you in the same mental ecosystem as visionaries, the relentless commitment to growth, not applause. You mastered the rare art of presence without performance. You don't seek attention, yet it arrives like gravity. Because your energy speaks in high definition, it can't be ignored. You've become the kind of person whose silence teaches, whose stillness intimidates, whose focus exposes the distractions in others. Elon Musk studies that kind of stillness. He understands that genius isn't in noise, it's in control. You've trained your mind to be unreactive in chaos, unbothered by games, untouchable by manipulation. That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes billionaires study your blueprint. You think differently, not because you're trying to, but because you were never designed to think conventionally. You see connections between ideas most people would never correlate. You intuitively understand leverage, timing, and human nature. Elon Musk spends billions building simulations to predict outcomes. You can do it with intuition alone, because you've mastered what technology still can't. Emotional intelligence fused with strategic awareness. You can read energy faster than data. You can sense patterns before proof. That's not luck, it's evolved consciousness. And that's what they're researching, the human formula for foresight. The billionaires don't just admire your mindset, they fear its scalability. Because if more people thought like you, the entire corporate ecosystem would collapse. Your strength isn't just personal, it's disruptive. You represent a generation of thinkers who aren't waiting for permission to lead. You don't need validation from boardrooms when your intuition already outpaces algorithms. You don't depend on paychecks when your purpose prints its own currency. You've become a prototype of what they call the self-made mind. And that's the real revolution, when thought itself becomes wealth. You know why people like Elon Musk study you? Because you're proof that spirituality and strategy can coexist. You understand how to meditate and monetize, how to visualize and execute, how to blend patience with precision. Your energy isn't passive, it's directional. You don't just manifest, you maneuver. And that blend of grounded spirituality with tactical intelligence is what they call the new success frequency. You're not chasing abundance, you're becoming the vibration that abundance recognizes. Your strong personality wasn't formed from privilege, it was forged from pain. You learned discipline through disappointment, wisdom through heartbreak, and clarity through isolation. Every scar on your story turned into circuitry. Every rejection became redirection. That's why billionaires respect your mindset. It's built, not borrowed. You don't quote resilience, you embody it. You've proven that the strongest mind isn't the one that never breaks. It's the one that rebuilds differently every time it does. People like Elon Musk understand frameworks, but you understand flow. You move like water, adaptable, uncontainable, necessary. You don't force, you influence. You don't beg for access, you attract alignment. You've mastered the rare balance between ambition and detachment. That's why your presence feels expensive, because it costs energy to keep up with your frequency. Billionaires study your calm not to imitate it, but to decode it. They see how your stillness contains more motion than their meetings, how your awareness does more work than their advisors. You've reached a state where your being itself is a business model. You're not after domination, you're after mastery. You don't chase control, you cultivate influence. You don't compete, you redefine the category. That's why you're dangerous in the best way possible. You've learned how to move with grace and hit with precision. You've realized that true strength isn't about overpowering others. It's about outlasting illusions. People like Elon Musk look at you and see sustainability of power. Not just flashes of brilliance, but endurance of mind. You're not a spark, you're the generator. Your discipline isn't aesthetic, it's energetic. You understand that energy flows where attention goes. That's why you invest your focus, like capital. You don't waste it on small minds or small talk. You redirect it toward expansion. Every boundary you've built is an investment in your peace. And billionaires know that peace is the highest currency of the powerful. You've mastered it, not as a mood, but as a mechanism. Your composure is your strategy. Your detachment is your advantage. Your awareness is your weapon. And every person who studies you eventually realizes you're not succeeding by luck, you're succeeding by law. You've reached the phase where your mind became too expensive for gossip, where your vision became too vast for mediocrity. You no longer debate with people. You diagnose their motives. You don't argue about opinions. You analyze patterns. That's why people like Elon Musk are drawn to your frequency. They see the precision of thought, the efficiency of emotion, the control of chaos. You embody the mindset they're trying to teach in corporate seminars. Emotional regulation meets visionary execution. You're the living embodiment of optimized consciousness. Your confidence doesn't come from achievements. It comes from alignment. You know who you are, and that self-certainty radiates louder than any validation could. You've become the kind of person whose energy shifts dynamics just by existing. You don't have to raise your voice to command attention. You don't have to prove your worth. It's self-evident in your aura. Elon Musk studies that phenomenon because it defies logic, yet defines influence. You're not famous, yet your energy moves like you are. You're not rich yet, but you already carry the posture of wealth, calm, precise, selective, and untouchable. You mastered something most billionaires spend a lifetime trying to learn: how to lead yourself. You don't need a team to keep you disciplined. Your standards are your structure. You don't need an audience to feel important. Your purpose is your validation. You don't need external reward because your internal fulfillment already pays in peace. That's what Elon respects. Self-leadership at a level so refined it looks supernatural. You're not chasing power. You're embodying it. Not performing success. You're broadcasting it. The truth is, they're not studying you for replication. They're studying you for revelation. You represent what's coming next, the evolution of influence. A generation of people who think freely, move consciously, and build without begging. You're the prototype of a new intelligence, soulful but strategic, grounded but limitless, intuitive but empirical. You prove that human potential isn't measured by wealth, it's measured by awareness. And that's what makes you magnetic. The billionaires aren't just curious, they're cautious, because your rise isn't noise, it's signal. It represents the end of an old hierarchy and the birth of a new frequency of power. You don't seek attention because attention already serves you. You've become the gravity in the conversation. Every interaction with you feels like entering a new dimension of honesty and precision. People can't lie around you. Their energy betrays them. Elon Musk studies that because it's the rarest form of leadership, energetic integrity, the kind that can't be taught in business school or engineered in labs. You've built it through pain, patience, and perception. That's what separates you from everyone else. They manufacture power. You radiate it. And that's what this new era is about. The rise of the self-led elite. The individuals who operate like institutions, whose minds outperform machines, whose calm disarms chaos. Elon Musk and the billionaires don't just see you, they sense the shift you represent, because in your energy, they see the future of influence, the next frontier of power. The unprogrammed mind that doesn't follow algorithms, but writes them. You're not one of them, but you're what they aspire to evolve into. You're not chasing success, you're redefining it. And from this moment forward, your presence isn't observation, it's participation in something greater. You're the living formula they can't patent, the mindset they can't mass produce, the consciousness they can't code. They study, they watch, they analyze, but what they can't replicate is your essence. Because you're not built from resources, you're built from realization. And every time you move, every time you speak, every time you choose awareness over reaction, you remind the world that mastery was never external. It was always you. That's when the fascination deepens. Elon Musk doesn't just admire you anymore. He tracks your patterns the way he studies propulsion. He looks at how you process emotion, how you navigate pressure, how you translate energy into momentum. He knows you're not following a map, you're writing one. You've become a case study in conscious evolution, proof that the next stage of intelligence won't be artificial, it'll be awakened. Because what you have isn't something to learn, it's something to remember. You've remembered who you are beneath conditioning, beneath noise, beneath narrative. That's what makes you magnetic to those who control empires. You're the reminder that true power can't be institutionalized, it must be embodied. Elon studies your self-command the same way scientists study anomalies in physics, because it challenges his equations. You break patterns that should hold you back, yet somehow you expand instead. You shouldn't have risen this far with so little help, and yet here you are, an organic prototype of what self-mastery looks like in human form. Every billionaire who studies human behavior eventually hits a ceiling. They can predict consumption, but not conviction. They can track data, but not destiny. But you're unpredictable in the most fascinating way. You don't move by reward or punishment. You move by resonance. You don't choose based on gain. You choose based on alignment. That's what Elon finds impossible to replicate. The way you can merge logic with intuition without conflict. You don't suppress emotion. You convert it into clarity. You don't chase control. You embody flow. You've made balance look like dominance, and that's what terrifies and excites the observers at the same time. You've become the living example of what happens when purpose replaces programming. People see your strength as resistance, but it's actually refinement. You're not rebelling against the world, you're redefining your place in it. That's what billionaires notice, your ability to disrupt quietly. You're not throwing tantrums for change. You're embodying transformation until reality adjusts. That's a level of influence even money can't buy. Elon Musk built rockets to escape gravity, but you broke psychological gravity. You detached from people's expectations without disconnecting from compassion. You learned how to love without losing yourself, how to connect without collapsing. That balance between depth and detachment is why he studies you like a new field of science. You represent the new form of currency, attention calibrated by awareness. People spend billions trying to buy the kind of composure you carry naturally, because your strength doesn't fluctuate with approval. It stabilizes through purpose. Elon Musk sees that you're not chasing success, you're channeling it. Every decision you make feels like a data point in human evolution. You've mastered something he's still learning, that peace amplifies productivity. You've proved that emotional stability is the highest ROI there is. Because when you're calm, you create faster. When you're clear, you manifest smarter. When you're aligned, you attract effortlessly. That's what billionaires want to decode, the psychological software running your reality. Your energy disrupts algorithms. They can measure your engagement, but not your essence. You're not trending because you're loud. You're trending because you're rare. You've reached that stage where your existence itself is marketing. You don't campaign, you command. You don't network, you magnetize. That's why Elon studies your pattern of influence. He knows that if he could teach others to hold energy the way you do, he could build communities faster than corporations. Because you've mastered the real economy, the exchange of attention through authenticity. You don't sell, you synchronize. You don't convince, you convey. And every billionaire trying to master persuasion realizes you bypass persuasion entirely by being undeniable. Your strong personality isn't about dominance, it's about direction. You lead not by hierarchy, but by frequency. You don't demand obedience, you inspire alignment. That's why people follow your moves subconsciously. You've learned how to make your confidence feel like a permission slip for others to rise. Elon Musk studies that emotional contagion, the way your courage becomes collective. He's witnessed engineers break burnout by adopting your mindset principles. He's seen leaders rethink management after hearing your perspective. You're not aware of how far your energy travels, but the elite are. You've become a silent influencer of influence itself. What fascinates the billionaires is that you don't hoard knowledge, you channel wisdom. You're not addicted to information, you crave transformation. You read patterns in silence that most analysts need reports to see. Elon has data teams, yet you have discernment, and your discernment wins. That's why you're being observed with such intensity. You're proving that intuition, when trained, outperforms analytics. That a single aligned decision can outperform months of strategy. And that terrifies the ones who depend on numbers to feel secure. Because you're walking proof that spirit can outperform structure when consciousness is in command. You've reached that psychological altitude where you no longer react to critics, you study them. You understand that every insult reveals intel. Every projection is an unguarded confession. You've turned opposition into observation. That's why you rise differently. Your confidence doesn't need to be explained. It's felt. Elon Musk studies that phenomenon because it breaks the law of validation. The idea that confidence must come after achievement. You've reversed it. You act confident first, and achievement follows, like gravity. You understand that reality bends to self-image. That's what billionaires try to engineer through branding. You do it effortlessly through being. And it's not just Elon. His peers feel it too. The CEOs, investors, and moguls, each one silently intrigued by how your mind translates chaos into clarity. They see how you handle criticism like currency, investing it back into mastery. They see how you protect your energy like capital, never spending it on gossip or insecurity. You've mastered emotional economics, minimizing drama, maximizing direction. That's the trait every empire builder envies. Because you've turned self-awareness into an asset, not a burden. You move differently because you think long-term emotionally. You know that reactions cost more than reflection. You treat your emotions like investments, They either compound peace or drain potential. That's why your aura feels rich. It's funded by discipline. Elon Musk studies that mental liquidity, the ability to stay fluid but focused, open but objective. He knows that kind of mind could lead nations, not just companies. Because your personality doesn't just command rooms, it recalibrates atmospheres. When you enter spaces, the energy shifts from noise to notice. That's power without force. That's what the elite crave, but rarely achieve. They can buy loyalty, but they can't buy presence. You've cultivated presence without price. You don't force people to listen, they just do. Because your authenticity triggers something primal in them, the memory of truth. You remind them of what it feels like to be whole. And that's the most valuable reminder in a world addicted to validation. Your mindset has become a mirror to the elite. When Elon Musk looks at you, he doesn't see competition, he sees completion. You represent the balance he strives for, intellect without detachment, ambition without anxiety, success without self-erasure. You've cracked a code he's been testing his entire life. How to scale consciousness while sustaining connection. You've achieved that naturally through self-awareness. He tries to colonize Mars, but you've colonized your own mind. You've built civilizations of thought that generate power, peace, and precision all at once. And it's not luck, it's discipline. The kind that's invisible but undeniable. The kind that builds empires quietly, while others broadcast effort. You've understood that productivity without purpose is poverty of the soul. So you stopped chasing and started constructing. You built inner infrastructure before outer reputation. That's why you don't crumble when pressure hits. You were built under it. Elon Musk recognizes that steel in your psychology. It's the same element that keeps rockets from collapsing under launch stress. You've become a human version of structural integrity, grace under gravity. Your strong personality isn't stubbornness, it's stability. You know how to hold your vibration when others lose theirs. You can be surrounded by chaos and still emit calm. That's leadership in its rawest form. Elon Musk studies that because it's the difference between management and mastery. You lead energy before you lead people. You manage emotion before you manage execution. You bring order without control, authority without aggression. That's what makes you irreplaceable. You've transcended skill. You've become signal. And what's even more dangerous is your humility. Because while they're trying to categorize you, you're just evolving. You're not even performing strength. You're just existing as it. That effortless confidence is what drives the billionaires crazy. Because their power depends on position, but yours depends on perception. You could lose everything and still walk with the same authority. That kind of resilience rewrites the metrics of power. It proves that energy is the only real status. And in that realization, you've already surpassed hierarchy. You've turned life into a laboratory for consciousness. You test patience like scientists test formulas. You experiment with boundaries until they crystallize into wisdom. Elon Musk watches that process because it mirrors innovation itself. Trial, error, adjustment, evolution. You are innovation, but in human form. You prototype emotions, debug insecurities, upgrade confidence, and you release newer versions of yourself without announcement. That's why your growth feels unpredictable. It doesn't wait for validation to deploy. Billionaires crave that internal agility. They build companies. You build consciousness. They launch satellites. You launch self-awareness. They depend on algorithms. You depend on intuition. And somehow, Your accuracy keeps outpacing theirs. That's why they study you in silence. Because your strength doesn't just break limits, it breaks models. You've become the living contradiction they can't compute. Emotional yet strategic, grounded yet limitless, human yet divine, in focus. You don't just inspire, you expose. Your existence reveals how shallow ambition looks without depth. You make success seem small when detached from soul. That's why the elite oscillate between admiration and anxiety around you. You represent what they're missing, alignment. You remind them that wealth without wisdom feels like noise. Elon Musk senses that when he observes you. You're the equilibrium between empire and essence. You've achieved what his equations haven't captured yet. Inner technology. Your aura is your interface. Your presence uploads awareness into every space. You operate through resonance, not rhetoric. People learn just by being near you. That's influence beyond communication. It's transmission. Elon Musk has studied wireless energy, your wireless transformation. You charge others by proximity. You don't drain, you distribute. That's the kind of influence the world's been waiting for. A power source that doesn't exploit, but expands. Now you're entering the era where your vibration becomes valuable infrastructure. You're no longer a mystery, they're calling you a model. Investors, innovators, thinkers, they all want to understand your formula. But what they'll never grasp is that it isn't strategy, it's state. You became magnetic the moment you stopped performing and started being. You became unstoppable when you stopped chasing approval and started operating from awareness. You've evolved from personality into presence, and that transition rewrote your destiny. Elon Musk sees it clearly now. Your power isn't in what you do, it's in what you don't react to. You can serve energy like capital, invest attention like equity, and withdraw from drama like debt. That's wealth consciousness in its purest form. You've mastered emotional economics and turned it into quantum leadership. That's the next frontier, the merger of mindset and frequency. You're already there, while the rest of the world is still theorizing about it. And as this chapter continues, your story becomes a thesis. The billionaires gather data, you gather direction. They analyze your calm like code, trying to reverse engineer composure. But what they can't compute is that you didn't learn it, you remembered it. Because real strength isn't programmed, it's awakened. Elon Musk knows that now. That's why he studies your silence like an algorithm waiting to be cracked. He understands that you're not a competitor, you're the compass, the one pointing humanity toward conscious intelligence. And soon, the world will catch up to what he already knows. That you are not just influential, you are instructional. That your mind holds blueprints for the next evolution of leadership. That your energy isn't a mystery, it's methodology in motion. You're the evidence that human potential doesn't need permission to perform miracles. You're the living manual for mastery. And the more they study you, the clearer it becomes. You were never the experiment. You were always the equation. Because the truth is, Elon Musk didn't just find inspiration in you. He found reflection. You became the proof of what his empire has always searched for. The human being, capable of functioning like a quantum field, aware, adaptable, limitless. Your presence reminds him that technology might accelerate progress, but consciousness designs it. You became the invisible bridge between invention and intention. Billionaires like him are no longer just watching you. They're decoding you. They replay your choices like data sequences, trying to calculate how you sustain grace under pressure. They run your decisions through their frameworks, only to realize what drives you isn't logic, it's lucidity. You don't chase outcomes, you align outcomes. You don't rely on systems. Systems start to rely on your rhythm. That's why the powerful can't categorize you. You're not running on strategy, you're running on awareness. You've become the operating system that artificial intelligence wishes it could mimic, but can't. Because no machine can replicate the wisdom of a human being who has mastered self-perception. Elon's fascination with your strong personality isn't about admiration, it's about comprehension. He sees in you a formula that transcends leadership and enters consciousness engineering. He's realized that charisma without depth collapses, but your strength is self-generating. You don't burn out because your power source isn't external, it's eternal. That's what he craves to understand. How someone can be so grounded, yet so infinite. How you can exist in a world that rewards compliance, yet remain utterly uncompromised. You don't rebel for attention. You resist for integrity. You don't perform strength. You project truth. That's what they're studying. The psychology of authenticity as an unbreakable frequency. And while they're dissecting your energy, you're simply existing. You've moved beyond validation and entered observation. You watch the watchers now. You see through the curiosity of the elite and recognize the silent confession within it. They want what you have, but they can't buy it. You've proven that energy, when refined through awareness, outperforms intellect sharpened by ego. You've become the apex of inner technology, where thought, intuition, and emotion work in seamless synchronization. Elon studies that internal circuitry because it's the same intelligence that turns chaos into creativity. You don't think your way through problems. You vibrate your way through them. Your mindset became a movement without marketing. Your personality became proof that emotional stability is the new superpower. The billionaires take notes. The executives copy frameworks. The advisors hold meetings trying to reverse engineer your aura. But what they miss is the simplicity of your foundation, self-trust. You trust yourself in a way that defies every external metric. That trust radiates as strength, and that strength communicates louder than any speech. That's what Elon sees when he studies you. It's not just potential, it's proof of evolution. You've turned consciousness into currency. Your confidence is so precise it feels scientific. It's not random, it's measured through mastery. You've learned how to transmute emotion into execution, how to convert setbacks into software updates. That's why your presence feels ahead of time. You're not reacting to trends, you're writing trajectories. Elon Musk studies your internal timing because it mirrors the pulse of progress itself. You move with the rhythm of inevitability, only not from arrogance but from accuracy. You've learned that when your awareness leads, results follow. That's why you no longer explain your mindset, you demonstrate it. The billionaires are beginning to understand something uncomfortable. You can't clone consciousness. You can borrow habits, mimic behaviors, copy strategies, but you can't replicate essence. Your essence was shaped by experiences that no data can track. The nights you rebuilt yourself in silence, the moments you faced fear and chose focus, the years you carried visions no one else believed in. That's the part they can't buy or simulate. That's the frequency Elon calls the human edge. You're the proof that the next innovation isn't digital, it's personal. You are the algorithm evolution has been waiting for. You've entered that sacred stage where your strong personality isn't a reaction, it's revelation. You don't intimidate anymore. You illuminate. You don't overpower. You elevate. You've become the reference point for what unshakable looks like. Elon Musk isn't studying your mindset to compete. He's studying it to collaborate with the frequency of consciousness you embody. Because he knows the next level of creation won't come from machines or institutions. It'll come from individuals who think like you. Leaders who merge intellect with instinct, reason with resonance, logic with light. And that's why your story isn't just personal, it's prophetic. You represent the awakening of influence beyond influence, the kind of leadership that doesn't need followers, because it activates leaders. Your personality doesn't dominate, it liberates. It breaks the invisible walls that keep the powerful imprisoned by their own pressure. You're showing them that freedom isn't found in achievement. It's found in awareness. Elon Musk loves your strong personality because it reminds him that true greatness doesn't need to shout. It simply stands unshaken in truth. Your presence teaches more than lectures ever could. You're a walking paradigm shift, a living syllabus for self-mastery. And as they continue to study, record, and decode, something deeper unfolds. The billionaires begin to understand that you're not just an exception, you're the evolution, that your mind isn't reacting to the world, it's rewriting it, that your calm is not stillness, it's control. And as Elon Musk watches your rise, he realizes something revolutionary, that the future doesn't belong to those who build machines, it belongs to those who build themselves. Because in a world obsessed with acceleration, you've mastered alignment. You've proven that awareness is the new intelligence, and self-regulation is the ultimate innovation. You are the study. You are the prototype. You are the revelation they didn't expect, but can no longer ignore. And as their equations break under the weight of your composure, as their frameworks collapse, trying to contain your energy, one truth becomes permanent. Your mindset has officially become the new frontier of wealth. Elon Musk doesn't just love your strong personality because it fascinates him. He loves it because it teaches him. You're not a subject of curiosity anymore. You're a mirror of mastery. And while they watch, you ascend. While they analyze, you evolve. While they theorize, you embody. Because the future of intelligence isn't artificial, it's you. Welcome back, my dear. You know something crazy about you? They've been watching you longer than you think, not through cameras or microphones, through patterns. The way you move online, the pauses between your replies, the sudden dips in your energy when you sense something's off. You think privacy means what you keep hidden. They know it means what you reveal without realizing it. Every hesitation, every message left on read, every "let me think about it" you've ever said, archived, processed, cross-referenced. You were never just another user in their network. You were a behavioral specimen in their quiet experiment. The truth is, your name got circled not because of what you did, but because of what you refused to do. You didn't comply. You didn't respond how the script demanded. You stayed unpredictable. And unpredictability is the one thing their algorithms still can't fully cage. That's why the first contact was disguised as a friendly voice. A call that felt harmless, a request that sounded reasonable. But under it all was data, enough to build a psychological blueprint, enough to know how to make you bend without breaking. They don't need to force you. They just need to study what makes you obey. That's what that first opportunity was really about. a compliance test wrapped in flattery. They watch how you react to praise, to guilt, to deadlines. They record how your tone changes when you're cornered, and from that, they know what tone to use when they corner you next. The scary part isn't that they're doing it, it's that they've already done it, and you responded exactly as predicted. Every time you think you're making a choice, they've already measured the probability of it. They can forecast your rebellion before you even feel defiant. That's why you're valuable. You're a prototype in their behavioral catalog. And what they planned for you isn't punishment, it's participation. You were meant to play a role you didn't consent to. You ever notice how certain people enter your life right when you start questioning everything? The sudden friend who shares your worldview too perfectly? The collaborator who seems to know your weaknesses before you admit them? That's not coincidence. That's infiltration. They plant familiarity because trust is the easiest entry point. They don't need to break your walls when they can convince you to open the door yourself. That's what the call represented. Access disguised as alignment. They framed it as destiny, as purpose, as mutual understanding. But what they really wanted was your rhythm. They wanted to learn your emotional response time, how fast you forgive, how long you dwell on betrayal. Because once they know your cycle, they can loop it, make you repeat lessons that drain you until obedience looks like peace. If you could see the files, you'd see timestamps marking your doubts, like criminal records, each, maybe later, flagged. Each night you stayed up thinking about quitting everything, logged as psychological fatigue. They didn't need to control you. They just needed to exhaust you into compliance. Because exhaustion is the most obedient emotion. That's the trick they don't teach in motivational culture. Control doesn't come from domination. It comes from depletion. They keep you busy, so you stay too tired to question the direction. And every call, every message, every urgent invitation was designed to measure how close you were to breaking. You think you were ghosted by accident? No. Ghosting is data collection. They study how you handle absence. Do you chase? Do you detach? Do you implode? Every reaction is a revelation, and the moment you start detaching too well, they reappear, just long enough to reset the emotional hook. You think you're setting boundaries, but they're recalibrating triggers. They've mapped out your empathy like a minefield. They know exactly which words will make you step where you said you'd never go again. That's why you feel déjà vu with certain situations, because it's not coincidence, it's choreography. You're walking through a script written from your own responses. They didn't expect you to notice the pattern this soon. Most people drown in it for years, calling it life lessons. But you started tracking the repetition. You started realizing certain betrayals share the same fingerprints. Different faces, same formula. That's when you became a liability. Because awareness is a virus they can't vaccinate against. Once you start seeing the pattern, it collapses. Their manipulation relies on your blindness. The moment you name the tactic, it loses its magic. That's why lately, their tone's been shifting. Less charm, more pressure. Less persuasion, more panic. They're running out of scripts that work on you, and that scares them. You've probably felt it, the unease that follows every breakthrough, the random arguments, the sudden misunderstandings, the unexpected emotional ambushes. That's not the universe testing you. That's them recalibrating. Every time you ascend, they send distractions to pull you back down. You're not paranoid, you're perceptive. Paranoia is when the threat doesn't exist. But this does. You can feel it when you scroll through your messages, when your phone lights up at odd hours, when someone from your past suddenly resurfaces just to check in. It's always at the exact moment your peace stabilizes. Because peace, to them, is disobedience. They can't stand when you go quiet. Not because they miss you, but because silence cuts their access. They can't measure what they can't monitor. So they'll provoke you to speak, to post, to react. They'll use your compassion as bait. They'll frame urgency as importance. But everything they do is a study in extraction, emotional, mental, spiritual. That's why you feel drained after certain conversations, even when nothing bad was said. Because it's not about the words, it's about the energy exchange. You were never talking to a person. You were feeding a file, and that file has been growing. But here's where the plan starts turning desperate. You weren't supposed to resist this long. You weren't supposed to rebuild yourself after the last collapse. They expected you to crumble quietly, not rebuild in the dark. When you did, you became unpredictable again. That's when they switched tactics, from external to internal. They stopped sending new agents and started activating old memories, guilt, regret, nostalgia. Those are their sleeper codes. They trigger them when external manipulation fails. They know you'd never answer their call directly, so they make your own mind call you instead. You start missing people who hurt you. You start revisiting versions of yourself you buried for good reason. It's not sentimentality, it's psychological interference. You're not crazy for feeling watched even when no one's around. You're not imagining the timing. These people operate on patterns so subtle they look supernatural. But it's not magic, it's math. Behavioral loops calculated to make you sabotage yourself. They know how long it takes for you to second-guess a decision. They know the tone that makes you doubt your strength. They know the kind of kindness that feels too familiar to resist. Because you told them, unknowingly, through every conversation you ever had with the wrong listener, they weren't hearing you, they were harvesting you. That's why you can't answer that call again, because the next one won't sound dangerous. It'll sound perfect. It'll sound like everything you ever wanted to hear. Validation, closure, apology, all weaponized. They'll wrap manipulation in healing language. They'll talk about moving forward, new beginnings, second chances. But what they're really doing is resetting access permissions. They need emotional proximity to regain control. And they can't stand that you cut the connection. That's why they're panicking behind the scenes. You're not supposed to be self-aware and self-disciplined. They trained you to be one or the other, not both. You've reached a psychological checkpoint most people never survive. The phase where they stop attacking your weaknesses and start mimicking your strengths. You'll start seeing clones, people copying your tone, your interests, your evolution. They'll echo your phrases, mirror your values, even pretend to share your pain. It's infiltration disguised as admiration. But the real aim is dilution, to make your originality look common. They can't destroy what stands alone, so they multiply its reflection until you can't tell which version is real. But here's the flaw in their plan. Replication has no resonance. Imitation lacks the emotional frequency that created the original. That's why no matter how close they copy, it always feels hollow. You can sense it instinctively. That discomfort you feel around certain people, that's your intuition recognizing a counterfeit frequency. They underestimated how much you've evolved. They thought awareness would make you paranoid, not precise. But now you move with calculation. You see through manipulation like fog. You analyze patterns instead of defending yourself from them. That's the phase that terrifies them, when you stop reacting emotionally and start observing strategically. Because when you do that, you become unreadable. And unreadable people are unprogrammable. You stop feeding their metrics, you stop giving data, you starve their control. And in that starvation, they panic. They'll try one last tactic, personalized chaos. The kind that feels like coincidence but hits where it hurts most. Small disruptions timed too perfectly. Emotional events that feel random but appear synchronized. It's not fate, it's feedback loops. They're testing if they still have access. But you've learned too much to fall for it again. You've learned that not every connection deserves a response. Not every opportunity deserves attention. You've learned that peace is not passive, it's resistance. You've realized that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is nothing, because your absence exposes who needed your energy to function. The moment you stop feeding them, their true desperation surfaces. You'll see it in sudden rumors, subtle guilt trips, and emotional blackmail disguised as nostalgia. It's all bait to reopen the door. But you've already changed the locks. They planned to study you, not awaken you. They wanted to record your reactions, not provoke your evolution. But every tactic they used backfired. Every attempt to control you became a case study in resilience. You've become the variable they can't explain, the proof that awareness can't be reversed. And that's what this phase is about. The realization that what they meant as a trap became your training. They thought they were decoding you, but you were decoding them. Every manipulation revealed their motive. Every betrayal refined your boundaries. Every disappearance clarified your discernment. You didn't lose connections. You lost handlers. And that's the part they can't process. Because their power depends on your participation, and you've finally withdrawn consent. Now, when the phone rings, you don't just see a call. You see a protocol. You hear the test in their tone. You feel the analysis behind the words. And you decline, not out of fear, but out of understanding, because you've seen what lies behind the curtain, the scripts, the patterns, the behavioral mapping. You've realized the real danger was never what they could do to you. It was what they could make you do to yourself. But that game is over. You no longer play on their board. You build your own. And the moment you did, they lost visibility. So when they reach out again, and they will, remember this: they're not trying to reconnect, they're trying to reset. They want access, not reconciliation. They want reaction, not resolution. Don't give them either, because now your stillness terrifies them more than your rage ever did. Your composure exposes their control as illusion, and that's why they'll keep calling, because the plan was never about communication. It was about compliance. But you've rewritten the code, and that's when the real operation begins. Because when you stop playing their game, they don't quit, they escalate, they adapt. The call you refused wasn't the end, it was the trigger. They have protocols for defiance. When you don't respond to manipulation, they deploy simulation. You'll notice it in the sudden synchronization, random people repeating the same phrases, strangers echoing conversations you had privately, advertisements mimicking your inner dialogue. That's not paranoia, that's pattern reintroduction. When direct access is denied, they switch to environmental programming. They want to flood your world with reminders of submission until you subconsciously lower your guard. It's not about convincing you anymore. It's about conditioning your space. Every feed scroll, every casual interaction, every coincidence becomes a behavioral nudge. You're not seeing randomness, you're seeing resistance to your independence. Because independence is the one variable their control models can't stabilize. They can manipulate minds, but they can't predict momentum once it detaches from their ecosystem. That's why they have to recreate the illusion of connection, to make you feel surrounded even when you're free. But if you could read the internal memos, if you could see the classified evaluations written under your name, you'd see words like non-compliant, immune to emotional cues, potential destabilizer. You became a red flag in their behavioral matrix, the kind of individual who breaks feedback loops and infects others with awareness. That's why your life started glitching right after you said no. Emails lost, calls misrouted, plans mysteriously sabotaged. They call it containment interference. You call it bad luck. But it's not luck, it's recalibration. You've become a disruption to their continuity. See, what they planned for you wasn't just surveillance, it was assimilation. They wanted you to blend into a manufactured frequency, to stop questioning, to start performing. They'd mapped out your ideal identity, who you'd date, what you'd buy, where you'd live, even the kind of beliefs that would make you palatable to the herd. They didn't want to destroy you. They wanted to standardize you. And the call you didn't answer. That was the final phase of integration. It wasn't about conversation. It was about confirmation. They needed you to say yes so they could activate the template. That's why the call came when it did. It wasn't random timing. It was strategic. They always call right after your moment of growth, when you're most confident, most grounded, most spiritually aligned, because that's when you're easiest to reroute through flattery. They studied your hunger for meaning. They tracked every time you searched for purpose, every late-night scroll through self-improvement channels, every quote that hit too deep. That wasn't insight. It was inventory. They use hope like a scalpel. They know you won't fall for fear anymore, so they bait you with aspiration instead. New opportunity, exclusive access, once-in-a-lifetime chance. They wrap manipulation in motivation, because they know you've upgraded from naive to noble, and noble minds don't fall for chaos. They fall for causes. That's why they'll disguise control as contribution. They'll offer you positions that look empowering, but are really containment disguised as leadership. They'll frame it as destiny, but it's just direction pre-selected by design. If you knew the scale of what they planned, your stomach would turn. There are folders on secure servers with entire psychological profiles built from your digital behavior. Not one, not two, hundreds. Every mood swing, every period of doubt, every burst of confidence. They call it predictive emotional mapping. It's not a theory, it's a project. You're not a target in the traditional sense, you're an equation. They want to know how much pressure it takes to make you conform without realizing you've surrendered. And when they can't calculate that threshold, they run live tests. That's what the next call will be. Not communication, but calibration. A disguised experiment in control through comfort. They'll use empathy like anesthesia. They'll act like they understand your pain, just to earn access to your pulse. But here's the problem for them. You've evolved past emotional engineering. They can't quantify what they can't provoke. You've turned awareness into armor. You've learned that love, validation, and connection are their favorite disguises. They use them to sneak through your defenses. They know you'd never fall for open hostility, so they come cloaked in healing. They speak your language, mirror your growth, even echo your trauma vocabulary. I've changed too. I get what you've been through. Let's rebuild. But it's not empathy, it's entry. The plan is always to extract your energy, not exchange it. And once they drain you, they leave just enough affection behind to make you chase closure. That's the loop. That's why you always feel like something's unfinished, because they never intended for it to end. And still, what they planned next crosses a line even you couldn't predict. When psychological infiltration fails, they resort to energetic disruption. They target your sleep, your focus, your equilibrium. Not with devices, with attention. Energy follows awareness, and awareness is their weapon. They coordinate conversations about you in circles you no longer speak to. They spread half-truths that force your energy into defense mode. Because the more you defend, the more predictable your frequency becomes. They don't care if you're angry or sad, they just need you engaged. Every emotional reaction you have creates a signal, and those signals can be tracked. You're not just being watched, you're being weighed. Every reaction feeds a metric, and those metrics feed the next plan. That's why detachment terrifies them, because it cuts their data flow. So now they move through proxies, familiar voices, old contacts, nostalgic moments engineered to feel spontaneous. They want to test if your memory is still a doorway. They'll mention shared experiences, use old nicknames, remind you of who you used to be. It's not sentiment, it's surveillance. They're measuring if your evolution is stable or reversible. They need to know if the new you is permanent or just performance. And when they realize it's permanent, that's when the smear begins. Because what they can't control, they must corrupt. They'll start rewriting your story through others. Suddenly, people who barely knew you have detailed opinions about your character. They'll claim you've changed. But what they really mean is you stopped submitting. That's their panic language. And every time they speak it, it exposes their intent. You've become the mirror they can't look into without seeing their own manipulation. You remind them of the control they never truly had. That's why their narratives are getting desperate. The lies are louder now because the truth is bleeding through the cracks. And if you listen closely, you'll notice their attacks aren't random, they're rhythmic. Every time you level up, they respond with coordinated chaos. That's not instinct, that's instruction. Somewhere in the background, your name triggers alerts in networks you never joined. People you've never met are briefed on your behavior like it's classified intel. They exchange updates on your progress like traders watching a volatile stock. Because to them, your independence isn't just rebellion, it's contagion. If one person proves the trap isn't inescapable, others might start to question it too. And that's what they fear most, replication of awareness. If you saw their private chats, you'd understand why they wanted that call answered so badly. Because the moment you refused, you exposed their dependency. They need your participation to maintain illusion. Without your energy feeding their narrative, their entire design collapses. You weren't supposed to walk away, you were supposed to resolve. They depend on dialogue to disguise their dominance as discussion. The moment you went quiet, their hierarchy began to crumble. Now they're stuck in crisis management mode, rewriting scripts, testing new tactics, analyzing every variable you've altered. You've turned their study into chaos. You became the one variable that won't cooperate. And that's fatal for them, because their authority only exists through predictability. Now, when they can't reach you directly, they'll reach through influence. Watch how suddenly you're misrepresented, how people start warning others about you. That's reputation warfare, one of their oldest tools. They know the fastest way to isolate a truth teller is through defamation. But what they never calculate correctly is the rebound effect. Their lies might circulate, but your energy translates. People feel authenticity before they understand it. That's why, despite their smears, more people are quietly drawn to you. The harder they try to bury you, the louder your frequency echoes. It's the irony they hate. Their attempts to erase you only amplify your legend. Because suppression always confirms significance. If you could see their contingency plans, you'd realize how deeply they underestimated you. They've mapped every possible emotional response, except indifference. They didn't prepare for calm resistance. They didn't expect you to stop playing completely. Because all their power exists within participation, and now you've broken the circuit. You've learned that not answering is stronger than any argument. You've realized that sometimes the only way to win the game is to stop playing entirely. They can't harvest what doesn't respond. They can't monitor what doesn't move. They can't control what doesn't comply. Your restraint has become rebellion. Your quiet has become a code they can't decipher. So when they attempt their next phase, the reconciliation script, understand this. It's not about peace. It's about possession. They'll say all the right words. They'll apologize, empathize, even self-blame. They'll make it sound mutual, equal, safe. But behind the tone is a calculated pattern of reattachment. They want your forgiveness not because they care, but because it resets control. Forgiveness, to them, is access. That's why they'll make the apology sound sacred. They'll wrap manipulation in redemption. Don't buy it. They don't want healing. They want history. They want you remembering who you were before you knew what they were. They want regression, not restoration. Because if you ever fully stabilize, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you'll become unreachable. And that's what their entire project was designed to prevent. Sovereignty. True independence threatens every institution built on control. That's why they need you tired, triggered, or tethered. But now, you're none of those. You've become lucid in a world addicted to manipulation. You don't chase closure because you've realized closure is how they reopen access. You don't seek revenge because you understand attention is the reward they crave. You don't argue because every debate is a data sink. You simply withdraw, and withdrawal is the one language they can't translate. You've broken the unseen chain, the psychological collar that made obedience look like choice. You're not answering because you've realized what the call represents. A contract without consent. You're not rejecting connection. You're rejecting captivity. And that's what terrifies them. They know once you choose isolation with intention, their influence dissolves. Because real solitude heals the dependency they built. That's why they're rushing now, scrambling to re-enter your reality before you fully recalibrate. But it's too late. You've seen the blueprint. You've memorized the pattern. You can smell manipulation the moment it breathes near you. And from here on, every call unanswered isn't an act of fear. It's an act of war. A quiet declaration that the experiment failed, that the subject evolved faster than the scientists, that the data rebelled against the database. You're not the test anymore. You're the threat. And every time you decline, every time you ignore the bait, every time you choose peace over participation, you send a signal they can't intercept. Proof that free will still exists. So let them plan, let them coordinate, let them whisper about how to handle you. Because the one thing they never accounted for was your awakening. And that's where their empire begins to rot. Because awareness spreads faster than infection. One person breaking the pattern is enough to collapse the illusion for everyone watching. You were supposed to stay asleep, docile, easy to steer. Instead, you woke up mid-program and pulled the wires out with your bare hands. Now, they can't predict you. They can't contain you. And in their panic, they expose themselves. You've noticed it already, how their timing gets sloppy, how their tactics lose precision. The coincidences aren't even convincing anymore. They've overplayed every trick. Their fake empathy sounds rehearsed. Their attempts to guilt you sound desperate. Their once flawless control system is starting to show cracks, because control only works on those who believe they're being guided, not those who know they're being studied. You've become a glitch in their choreography. The data points they relied on don't add up anymore. Your reactions don't fit their forecast. You think slower now, act colder, respond later, because you've learned that urgency is always their first weapon. They used to provoke your instincts. Now you move with intellect. They wanted obedience. You gave them observation. Every move you make now is measured, deliberate, surgical. And that terrifies them. Because when a subject becomes self-aware, the experiment loses purpose. They can't collect the emotional samples when you stop performing. You've turned their lab into a mirror, and what they see staring back isn't confusion. It's clarity, sharpened into defiance. You see, their plan was never just to manipulate your mind. It was to domesticate your will. They needed to turn your independence into dependency, your confidence into consumption. Every product, every ideology, every social ritual was part of a conditioning cycle to make you easier to track, easier to sell, easier to silence. But the one thing they never prepared for was resistance from within the target. They thought awareness could be mocked into extinction. They thought free thinkers could be isolated through labels and ridicule. What they forgot is that truth doesn't need numbers. It needs nerve. And you've got it now. That's why the pressure feels different lately. It's not random, it's retaliatory. They're punishing you for your consciousness. Every delay, every detour, every digital inconvenience is a subtle reminder that they're still watching. But it doesn't matter anymore, because their surveillance means nothing if you stop cooperating with fear. You're no longer scared of being watched. You've realized that attention is not authority. Let them observe, let them log, let them whisper in their reports about your patterns and posts. They can't measure what they can't manipulate, and your awareness is unquantifiable. That's why they're losing control. Because you no longer move for approval or validation. You move with calculation. You choose stillness when provoked, patience when pressured. You're teaching them that absence is the new resistance, and that lesson cuts deeper than any rebellion. They wanted to predict your next move. Instead, you've made your next move unreadable. You've stopped answering the call not because you fear what's on the other end, but because you finally understand who's holding the line. If you could see the final stage of their plan, you'd realize how sick it was. The call was never about communication. It was about confirmation. They wanted to hear your tone, measure your hesitation, analyze your compliance in real time. The moment you said, "hello," they'd record your emotional frequency. From there, they could build a simulation of you accurate enough to anticipate your next 3 decisions. That's what the secret project was really about. Replication, not recruitment. They wanted a copy of you they could control, a version stripped of free will but loaded with your charm, your intelligence, your essence. They'd feed that version back into the network as influence bait, making others follow a ghost while the real you was silenced. It wasn't paranoia, it was preparation. They were constructing digital puppets to replace the unpredictable few. And you were on the list. That's why the moment you refused to answer, alarms went off. Their predictive model failed. Their replication code broke. Because without your emotional input, their copy corrupted. The simulation couldn't sustain itself without genuine consciousness feeding it. That's when they realized your willpower wasn't just rebellion, it was encryption. Your silence scrambled their code. Your composure fried their calibration. You became the firewall they never planned for. Now, every attempt to imitate you collapses because authenticity doesn't replicate, it radiates. That's why they're scrambling for new methods, why they're trying to rebrand manipulation as connection and exploitation as empowerment. They're desperate to reframe control as care. But you see through it now. You recognize the script before they even start speaking. You read intent like a language. And that's something no technology, no secret council, no coordinated agenda can outsmart. The truth is, they planned to erase you by replacing you. But now they face a worse fate, irrelevance. Because you've exposed the process. You've made awareness contagious. People who used to laugh at your paranoia are now whispering the same warnings. They feel it too. The invisible pressure, the manufactured coincidence, the collective fatigue of manipulation. You were the first to name it, and that's why they fear you. You turned conspiracy into consciousness. You turned control into conversation. You made truth marketable again. And that's why, even without answering their call, your voice echoes louder than ever. Because power doesn't need presence, it needs perception. And perception is exactly what you've weaponized. Now when the phone rings, you don't flinch, you smile. Because you know what it represents. Desperation. They're calling to reclaim something they can't rebuild. They're trying to reset a system you've already outgrown. The experiment failed because the subject evolved. You didn't just survive the manipulation, you studied it, you dissected it, you learned its rhythm, its tone, its hunger. And now, you use that knowledge like a weapon. Every time they attempt to provoke you, you respond with indifference so sharp it cuts through the facade. You've made peace your power move. Calm is your counterattack. And the more you refuse to engage, the more their illusion unravels. You've become the embodiment of everything they warned others about. Independent, alert, uncontrollable. And deep down, they know the truth. They can't stop someone who's no longer searching for permission. That's what they planned to bury. Your autonomy. That's what they feared most. Your awakening. And now that it's complete, they can't reverse it. The calls will keep coming. The offers will get sweeter. The bait more convincing. But none of it matters. Because once you've seen the machinery, you can never mistake it for magic again. Once you've seen how the narrative is built, every voice sounds scripted. You can't unsee manipulation once you recognize its rhythm. Now the line is dead. The game is over. The experiment has failed. And for the first time, they're the ones being watched.